What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? This is another episode of the 2023 NFL Draft Film Room, but we have a little bit of information. This entire week has been something else. Does this guy have you down in your feelings? Do you think he's going to be the future of the left tackle position? Do you think the Chiefs are going to move on? Either way, it doesn't really matter. Again, welcome back to the RGR Football Channel. My name's Daniel Harms, your film analyst for this week's Film Room, and I gotta tell you, this is gonna be an interesting one. It's been a hell of a week, am I right?
What a week, huh?
Lemon, it's Wednesday.
There is going to be plans at left tackle for the future for Kansas City. Is it going to be Orlando Brown Jr., or is it going to be a draft player, or is it going to be somebody else? All I know is right now we are talking draft, and that brings me to Anton Harrison. Left tackle out of Oklahoma, number 71, is an option for the Chiefs at number 31, specifically because of the way that he can get out and move. This is not something we've seen since Eric Fisher, the ability to get out and move at left tackle. Very, very good hip turn. He is able to really torque himself out there and then just accelerate, easily accelerating into the next level, things that you don't see from Orlando Brown. They don't use him a ton that way. So there's always a possibility of taking a tackle and then trying to figure everything out later. It has been reported that the Chiefs desire to move on, not move on, but to lock down a left tackle for the future. They don't want to have a situation that they've continued to have. And an athletic guy, and Anton Harrison at the end of the first round, makes a lot of sense. And again, I do think he did a nice job at the combine, coming in at the right place. He had that number, his arm length, proposed wrong, and that did not help him out. There were some people reporting it was 31 and 3/8, something like that. I think he actually measured in at 34.25 inch, or 34 and an eighth of an inch. So he's all good there on the threshold. He's a really good pass blocking left tackle right out of the gate. Oklahoma does a lot of this in terms of bringing in and developing guys that are going to be really good pass blockers at the next level. That was one of the areas that Creed Humphrey was excellent at. Right here, you're going to see him relocate that right hand underneath, jab on the outside first. His left hand's going to stay on the outside. Really needs to relocate that as well. But we're going to see right here, he again right there, gets his left hand too close to the outside, grabbing up on the shoulder pads. That's a no-no for me. But he's going to relocate his right hand right underneath. And that's exactly what you want to do to reestablish that leverage. Give yourself the upper hand, as it were, in this situation. Again, right here, boom, and relocate that right hand underneath. Guy goes nowhere. He locks down the left side right there. Really nice job. And then the quarterback can then throw an interception. But either way, this is something that we're going to see more of. And one of the things that I liked about this is that when you are playing tackle, there's really three places you can go. You can do a jump set, which is more of a straight attack, which we saw Orlando Brown do a good number of times in Kansas City because that was what he was best at. You can have a vertical set, which is essentially just 100% backwards on your feet and getting your footwork, where you have the 45-degree angle set, which is a lot of what the Chiefs do, 45 and verticals. It's just going to be that nice little angle right here that he's going to take. Again, you see, watch his feet. They're all right there. He opens the gate a little bit. He's not just a swinging gate in terms of being 100% open, but he takes it. He does a good job there to get the upper hand on that defensive end and shut him down. So I liked to see the smooth feet. He works those hands. I'd love to see that left hand come in a little bit more, or just kind of let go and use that right hand on the inside, and then really reestablish himself, but keep that left hand free if you have to. Holding like that will get called more oftentimes than not. But either way, again, he's a very, well, that's not the right guy at all. That's the right side of the line. Anton Harrison, again, a really good player. And one of my big things that I love to see is that he's not used a ton in the run game. Oklahoma doesn't run a ton. From the tape that I have, I've watched 3 games of him. That's all the Oklahoma tape that I have. But there are things on these tapes that really stick around, and the tenacity that he does show when they get into a I'm gonna run the ball kind of mentality. It's nice to see some weird splits here for whatever reason. You've got this left guard is really close to the center. You have moderately normal splits. You got this, and then you have a gigantic split between the left tackle and the right guard. This just might be an Oklahoma thing. I'm not entirely sure, but it's really more for the double here. And then you're going to see Anton Harrison take out this guy right here and really get off the ball, stick that right foot in the ground, and forklift him up. That's what you want to see in the run game. Obviously, there's a 5-man box right here. So Oklahoma did run the football, and the Chiefs are going to see more lighter boxes with Patrick Mahomes. That's just kind of how it's going to be. And when you can get off, again, use that forklift, use some of that pop in your hands. He doesn't have a ton where he really shocks guys in the front. And again, the run blocking still needs some work. He doesn't have the most power, but I've been watching more offensive line, and I've watched a little bit and listened to some coaches talking. It's not necessarily power and pushing. It's more of taking them where they want to go. So if he's going to go out to the left, you're going to get your base set. You are going to still attack with your hands, and then it's driving with your hips and your feet and your knees, trying to get them going where they want to go. Take them out of the picture. It's never really a push with your arms, because then that allows them to get more leverage on you. And this is more of what I like to see from the power standpoint. If you aren't going to be always able to necessarily shift them upfield to shift them downfield, get some torque in there. Really nice hip turn and devastation right there. All of that torque created from that hip turn, it's really nice to see from Anton, because, this is one of my concerns with Creed Humphrey coming out, is that I didn't necessarily think that his anchor or his run power was enough for the NFL. Obviously, we know now it's a completely different animal. Andy Heck is an excellent coach, and he also, Creed has that wrestling background, so it was just the style of play at Oklahoma. And I really do think that Anton, while hasn't shown the most consistent in run blocking, they use him a ton of different ways. And this is one of those things that you show on tape, and that's how I know you can be developed in a way. This is going to be just tenacity. When you get off the ball and you just want to attack this man, and your one job is to block him, he's going to come out. He's just going to keep driving and driving and driving. And I like to see that. Get your hands on the inside right there. Rework your hands, and then just push him out of the way. Push him out of the way. You get a defensive end out here at any point, you've done your job, especially if you're not asked to get to the second level on this play. Just push him out and keep going and keep going and keep going. I love that drive. I love the tenacity that he brings. And again, the physicality at the NFL level will bring itself up. And Oklahoma isn't always going to be the best place to showcase that. And I do think that he has a lot of that tenacity, and it's more about showing the signs and the footwork and the drive, and always don't necessarily have to always push guys. Relocate your hands, keep him on the inside a little bit more. I'd like to see, again, a little bit more on the inside. He does have a tendency to get his hands on the outside, and that can be a problem at the NFL level. So just keep working those hands. That's one thing you see a lot with Andy Heck, is they do a nice job with the offensive line of continuing to work. You get him on the outside a little bit, but you don't get called a lot on some guy getting hold up on the shoulder pads. So really like to see it, and then keep driving through the play. And this is a lot of what they used with Anton as well, because he's such a gifted athlete. Really tested well at the combine. The field drills for him were awesome. And I really like the pull method that they use. They use this a lot in college, I've seen, where you have either both guys pulling from one side and you figure it out and you run that way with the running back, or they do this and they actually run off of it. You see this a lot at Ole Miss. They did this a lot where it was basically like a counter reverse almost, where you have these guys pull and the running back goes the opposite way. But here you're going to watch Anton get out and get up that hole and then look for work. He does a good job, and then clamping down here on the inside, and to watch how smooth it is. There's no like hitches in his step. He's just boom, 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 boom. It looks so simple. It looks so easy for him at his size, and then he just gets underneath him and drives. Again, he's going to take a step out with his right foot to really give himself not only time, because oftentimes, at least when I was taught in high school, especially as a guard pulling, you are trying to get down the line quickly. So this first foot needs to be the one moving in that direction. It's not always taught that way, but you'll see the guard is kind of trying to do that immediately. He's really stepping and turning with his left foot. So he's trying to turn and then get down the line immediately. For a tackle, it's a little bit different, because especially when you both are pulling at the same time, if they were both to do that, he might run into him. It's really based on timing. So he's going to give himself a little bit of time with that outside step, and then he's also going to work down the line with the guard in tail right there. Set up blocks, and then let your guys get to the second level. I liked to see his timing and understanding of how to block and how to pull. It really makes a lot of sense when you watch how he's giving himself just a smidgen, a little second time to run with that guard there, get out in the open field, or keep driving this guy. So the pulling is really fun to see. And now that we've seen Kansas City use a lot more pulls and a lot more gap, a lot more power schemes, this makes a lot of sense for, again, Big 12 offensive line that doesn't necessarily always have the power. And one way you can use a lot of that power is getting these athletic big guys on the move so they can generate some of their own power. The biggest thing we're going to see with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback is the ability to throw the football. So having to be able to sift through pressure and then open that gate and pick up a couple guys at a time is going to be huge in paying dividends for this team. So right here, you're going to see him. He's going to close this gap initially. Okay. So I'm working down here. You can't beat me inside. That's the fastest way to the quarterback. So I can't let you in here. And then we see number 4 coming off the edge. And he immediately opens the gate, opens that left foot around, and he's going to pick up the guy blitzing off the edge. Really smart player. Really smart player. He makes it look like it was easy for him too. That's the one thing that I love about watching Anton Harrison, is that he's going to do a great job with his vision, seeing plays unfold and how they pick up, stunts at the NFL level. We see that a lot. And when you're able to pick up those stunts, and you see the field a lot like some of the running backs in terms of having that field vision where your peripheral vision is really, really good. And that's something that Anton Harrison brings, because when you see a guy rushing off the edge like that, it's almost all peripheral vision when your attention is focused on that inside gap option right here. Because you see, again, he condenses down and he's not looking over here. But he understands that, okay, he's coming here, so I have to open up. I have help on the inside, and then I can open up my left hip to welcome any other pressure. Again, very good job here of doing that and then picking him up. Unfortunately, that ball gets tipped, I believe, at the line and then picked off. But Anton Harrison, just a really, really solid prospect for the Chiefs at the end of the first round. Again, at 31, I do think that he makes a lot of sense for what the Chiefs are going to be able to do and what they're going to want to do. I fully believe that he's I won't say he's like a ready to go prospect in terms of he can step in day one and be a functional above average starter in the NFL. That's probably not where he's at. He's got some other work to do, but I don't think Trey Smith was a get ready to start right day one either, but he was able to do so. Creed Humphrey helped him along. It's a really good system to be in, and putting him next to a guy like Joe Thuney, who's incredibly athletic, gifted for his position, only makes sense to be able to continue to develop these guys. So I'm excited about a prospect that we know now is going to be an option, at least in some way, shape, or form. The future of left tackle in Kansas City is going to be solved this offseason. It has been said that that's what the Chiefs want to do. And I think that Orlando Brown limits what their offense can do functionally with pulling tackles, with getting guys out, with screens to his way, and being able to get out in space and move. It's just not his game. So Anton Harrison brings that athletic ability with the length and the power upside. Again, upside on the power to be able to get out in space, move, and move guys around. So I like Anton Harrison a lot. There's a lot of guys around, not just Chiefs Twitter, Chiefs Film Twitter, but everywhere in the draft Twitter and everything like that. They really like Anton Harrison, what he brings. And I'm very big on him myself. He was probably my offensive tackle 3 in this class. You're looking back at it now before I started watching. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. We're going to continue to do these. They're going to be a bit shorter because film isn't always at the most opportune, and I don't always have access to everything. But Anton Harrison is an option if the Chiefs do not reach a deal with Orlando Brown by the time the draft rolls around. It's very much a possibility that he's going to be, or he could be in Kansas City, whether that's in the first round, where they're at, trading up, either way. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. More coming. We got more content coming next week. I'm going to be in Michigan, but I will have another video for you guys next week. That's a promise. Probably going to be on a defensive end. I think we're going to go that way. So you guys have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.